Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to another episode of Trudge Report. This is a recovery-based podcast, but don't worry, if you're not sober or not ready to be sober, we talk about plenty of other things, including sports, trending topics, and a good bit of nonsense. My name is Sean and I am your host. I'm joined by my good friends and fellow trudgers, Corey, Greg, and Dan. Please remember to listen on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Videos will be posted each week on YouTube and Facebook. But as always, please be sure to download on your listening platforms. Remember to like and subscribe on all social media outlets with the handle @TrudgeReportPod. We are brought to you by Stella Mix Podcast Management and our wonderful producer and editor, Miss Janine Stella. Gentlemen, good evening. Happy recording day. How's everybody doing? We start. I can't just say we start in the Upper Midwest now because there's two of you. But let's always, as always, Mr. G.A. Phillips, you're up first. How are you tonight?
Good evening, gentlemen. I am doing very well. I hope you all are too. Yeah, man. Good week. Bad week for sports. Good week for everything else, I guess. I don't know. I know Corey plays. I don't know if you other two fine gentlemen do fantasy football, but man, am I having a toilet of a week. On the plus side, I guess, for Sean's Commanders, the president decided to become a sportscaster for the day and called the part of the Commanders game. So I guess that's cool. That's something new.
Like he said, he's probably just going to take over the head coaching job of the team. So that'll be cool.
I know the most about football. No, and things are good. We are actually, my wonderful, no free advertising, so I won't say what brand it is, but my wonderful dynamic mic is probably not picking this up, but it sounds like a cyclone outside right now. So we're getting the first licks of winter here. First snow tonight. Should be popping in any minute. They said possibly 5 to 10 inches. So
what?
Here we go.
That's what she said.
Yes, sir.
No.
Very good. Dan, the other great Midwesterner. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, Greg, we already had the flurries. It's been snowing since about 6 o'clock tonight. And
that's wild.
Yeah, it's not sticking or anything like that. I'm sure it'll actually stick up there in your neck of the woods.
That lake effect is something different up here, pal.
Yeah, everyone gets all worried around here. It never sticks. I mean, we haven't had more than 6 inches since I've lived here, So it's
also what she said.
Yeah, I knew you were coming back with it. So we had a crazy week. We had a bunch of allergic reactions and hives in my household. That was pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
how are you doing, dude? What the heck is going on over there?
Yeah, finally on the mend. Still no meat for the last 2 days. No meat and dairy. And we're going to continue that till Thursday.
Dude, is that what it is? Is that really what they think it is, dude?
Yeah, I mean, it's possibly some crazy thing that links meat with a tick bite. Yeah. And then the allergy comes from the tick bite and it releases something crazy.
Okay, so there's a good chance this will all work out.
Yes.
And you'll be able to consume real food again.
I think so.
Dan texted me the other day and said he got a Beyond Burger from Burger King. And I said, dude, this is a rock bottom moment. Screw everything we talked about last week on the podcast. That is the lowest of the low, sir.
And I never realized how many things have dairy in them, like actually looking at stuff. But that, like this morning, I ate waffles. It's not dairy. Like, I'm good. Like, it's not that. But
no, so not to derail this real quick, but years and years ago, I'll never forget, Sophia came home broken out in hives from the babysitter, big hives, one day. And we gave her Benadryl, got rid of them. And then they came back like a few days later. And my parents, as most the people listening to this know, my parents are into natural medicine. So my mom put me in touch with her kinesiologist of all people. And because we didn't know allergic reaction, whatever, but he's similar to what you just said. He said, cut her off of all gluten and dairy and a couple other things for now, none of it, and get this like B12 complex, this liquid B12 complex supplement, and start giving it to her like twice a day. And we had her off all that stuff for like approximately a month, maybe more, honestly. And the issue went away and it never came back. And then she was able to eat all real food again. And he said that like the body sometimes just has to like grow out of it or like build up the immunity to it or whatever. It was wild, but
yeah. So my initial thought was like it was some virus because I flew back, I was in Connecticut for the weekend. I flew back through New York on Spirit. So I was like coupling those two together. It's got to be some weird virus.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
called communism, I
Oh,
believe.
I thought it was called low budget flying.
We call that the Momdami flu, dude.
Yeah. So I was like, I got some weird COVID 67 going on here or something like that. But
67.
they put me on prednisone, steroids, and all that stuff, and they finally. I mean, I didn't sleep all week, man. It was awful. It was bad. I had 102 fever. It was crazy. But this morning I woke up for the first time feeling good. So that's good. And
Awesome.
yeah, just no red meat, which is kind of weird. So I've been eating a lot of chicken.
Hey.
Yeah, but outside of that, man, the week was good. I mean, well, everyone's good. School was good, and nothing to complain about over here.
Nice.
Good. Well, I hope you're on the mend still. Continue to get better. Corey, everybody's wondering. All the listeners are clamoring. How is Corey doing?
They're not, Sean. Nobody cares.
They
You don't
are.
care. Greg doesn't care. Dan doesn't care. Dan might care a little.
He said,
You guys
don't
definitely don't
patronize
care,
me.
Yeah, don't pat me. Whatever, dude. Everything's fine. I don't know. I went to the air show. That was cool.
How was it?
The air show. It was fine. We got a VIP hookup, so that was cool.
Nice.
Like Mission Barbecue for free.
Mission Barbecue is legit.
Oh, dude, that
Mission
brisket
Barbecue
was
is
sick.
very good.
So good.
I don't see the craze, dude. I really
Oh,
don't.
good.
We have one by my office. It's solid. It's really good.
Oh, we're gonna talk about eating meat.
Yeah. Dan, you should try it one day.
That's swine, though. That's swine. That's just pink meat, sir.
Yeah.
That's pink meat, not red meat.
Good. It's all right, Dan. My doctor says I should stay away from red meat. So
Yeah. I got told the same thing. That was literally all my blood work, man, and cholesterol, whatever that thing is in cholesterol. He said you gotta stop eating red meat so much.
yeah, me too. That's why I'm not going back. I'm not going back.
Yeah.
I would not be going to a doctor again.
Yeah.
But
What else is going on, Corey?
I don't know, Sean. What else is going on with me? I saw Sean this weekend.
We did. We hung out for a bit.
Let
the kids tear up the house. Kids had a good time.
And then he just berated me for an hour.
Good.
Just you're not doing anything you're supposed to be doing.
Who, Noah or Sean?
No,
Yeah, well, Noah berates me when at home.
that's not true.
Noah, Father, I have a list for you.
Dude, he got a haircut today. Have you guys seen his hair recently?
Oh, he's
Super
a
long.
a wild man. Yeah.
Tarzan.
He got a haircut today.
He got
Wow,
hit.
did he? That's a milestone.
Yeah. Well,
That's a big deal.
He had one before, but it was wild, dude.
Oh.
It was very long.
Okay.
So
All right.
yeah, it was good. I got nothing, dude. I don't know.
That's all right. Listen,
Fly tomorrow
did you
night.
guys like we're many days too late, but Dan made me think of this with the flying things. You guys see that UPS video?
Oh
Yeah.
my god, dude! What?
That plane in Kentucky, that was so crazy, dude.
Did they figure it out? What happened?
Yeah, the engine dislodged. It was a
The engine,
39-year-old plane.
That's why as soon as what was it, maybe 100 feet off the ground, and it completely just did a barrel roll.
Yeah, it said if they were like in the air or something like that, like it might have been something you could have been to, but like while taking off, impossible, total fatality, no matter what.
Yeah.
what happened? I don't.
Dude,
see
like
any-
this was like Monday, a UPS plane carrying batteries, I believe, correct?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Taking off out of Louisville, going to Honolulu, and yeah, they got down the run rate at like 200 miles an hour, got maybe 100 feet off the ground. It didn't even look like they even came fully off the ground. He was just getting ready. He was nose up, and the plane just completely does a barrel roll. And like the crazy thing is, so they have video footage of it taking off, and then another dude who's sitting in like
the guy in the truck.
Yeah, the FedEx depot, like next to the airport, sitting in his truck, waiting for his truck to get loaded. The whole thing comes on dash cam. It's just a wall of fire just right in front of him.
did the pilots die?
Oh,
And
yeah,
people on the
every-
ground, too. It was like
I
15
think-
total.
Yeah.
Dude, we might just have to
Insane.
get rid of airplane travel altogether.
I've been saying that for a long time.
You know,
That's
it's-
because you're superstitious. But
it's so funny because I fly all the time, and like I always get like freaked out about like stuff happening, and everyone's always like, "It's the safest way to travel." I said, "Every day in the news, a plane crashes."
Yeah.
Safest way
The
to
only
travel
reason-
is walking.
Yeah.
Well, the only
Walking
reason they
is
can
the
say
safest way to
that is
travel.
because there's 50 times, car accidents.
Yeah.
But it's still like, okay, but they're still man-made flying hunks of metal.
Yeah.
Okay. It's weird.
We
It's
have
weird.
had a lot of plane crashes in 2025.
Yeah, dude, it's been
And thank God, knock on wood, like it hasn't been any passenger planes, thankfully. Not large scale passenger planes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I will say too, when they are though, I don't know what this. I guess I shouldn't even say this, but they're normally not in the U.S. I don't know if
Correct.
regulations
There
are
was just
different.
one in Maryland,
Correct.
D.C. like less than a year ago.
Oh, the
helicopter.
helicopter. That was a helicopter collision.
Yeah, but it killed all those freaking there was a medical airplane that it killed with all sick people on it.
But it wasn't like a plane malfunction.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That was human error.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's okay.
Well, no, I'm just
when you
Oh,
can't
what are you,
control it,
perfect?
Yeah.
you do when you hear about a lot of these plane crashes from overseas that are passenger planes.
Yeah,
most of the
that's
time,
true. Okay.
It's engine malfunction, it's stuff like that, and it's because they don't have the equivalent of the NTSB like we do. They don't have, like I've sat on planes, and Dan, with as often as you fly, I'm sure you have too. But like I remember this wasn't too long ago. I sat on a plane. We sat on the tarmac for an hour because the black box for the plane, the recorder, it wasn't pinging properly. They didn't have to swap out the black box. But they had to have a mechanic come out, get down in the guts of the plane, and we're all just sitting there strapped in. And it was like a huge inconvenience, sure, in the moment, but it's like, damn, like we're taken care of here,
Dude, it's one of my it's happened so many times because it'll be like just the error code flashes up, nothing's even wrong, and they have to reset the whole computer, restart the plane and everything. But when you see that maintenance guy walk on the plane with the clipboard, I'm like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah, dude,
come on, guy,
we are cooked.
Yeah.
That's why I'm driving. That's why we drive to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, man, that's why I drive a lot to Connecticut. It really is like having that you're not on the behest of them.
How long is that drive?
10 hours. Well, 9.5 by myself, 10.5 with the girls.
Yeah.
That's not too terrible.
No, in Pennsylvania, straight through the middle of the night, no one's on the road, put one leg up, cruise control, let it rip.
Yeah.
What size jug do you take to pee in?
Multiple vitamin water bottles.
Nice. Solid.
I like it.
That's great.
How much cocaine do you snort to stay awake?
About 1 to 2 ounces per hour.
Thought you were evading that, didn't you?
That could be a plug for our future maybe sponsorships. If
there you go.
There you go. Good stuff, guys. Anything else in Around the Horn? Anybody got anything they got? Any hot takes? Anything they want to get off their chest? Corey, you doing all right over there with the whole Eagles and all that stuff?
Yeah, let's just get a pulse real quick. Pulse reading. We don't have to spend too much time on this. I mean, straight up, who's got it tomorrow night? Packers or Eagles? They're in Lambeau.
I'm going Packers all the way.
Are you fucking telling
me?
But
you already knew that, dude. Don't act like you're surprised by that.
Carolina just rolled into Lambeau last week and embarrassed them. So
that's what I'm saying.
They're going to have a chip on their shoulder.
Saquon Barkley always shows up big time in the big games.
Corey totally thought you were going in a different direction than that guy, Greg.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Thank you, Dan. Also, it may snow, and we know what happened the last time it snowed and Saquon Barkley got rolling. I'm just saying.
I thought they were saying Lambeau. Is that when the Giants won?
I feel like
last time.
Snow is a more regular occurrence in Lambeau than it is in Philly.
That's all right. Saquon thrives in the snow.
Yeah.
He's going to shine big. I was never going to pick Philly no matter what, so don't act surprised by my pick.
Dude, you guys are making it so easy to win the division this year.
Shout out to the Giants for having another 10-point lead. First time ever in the NFL.
Yeah, that was rough.
Shout out to Josh Allen. Shout out to Josh Allen, guys. He's elite.
He is elite.
Yep, elite Josh Allen. What up?
Corey, I don't know if you've been around football enough to understand conference games. It doesn't matter.
Conference games?
Yeah, conference games, man. In conference games. Because the Giants are 1-10 and they're playing the Eagles at 10-1, man. It's a conference game. You always bet below on the spread on that one. I'll tell you that much.
Enough of that, because nobody really wants to talk about the Eagles anymore.
No.
I'm sorry I even asked. We are going to extend
on top.
An extension of you are on top right now. last week, and last week was kind of a fun episode. We really got into some war stories and some crazy escapades and some funny stuff, some really tragic stuff as well. Tonight, we want to talk about powerlessness, kind of, what were some barriers that we had, that each of us had to getting into recovery, some preconceived notions, how our addictions, affected relationships with family and friends, coworkers, jobs, the lack thereof, whatever it is. And then kind of a really, the last one, we'll save the last question. It's kind of a cool question. So let's get right into it. I don't think I meant to put myself first on this rotation, but we'll go with it. I'm going to start with barriers to recovery that we may have had. So I was never in recovery before I actually got sober. I had gone to a good amount of meetings, mostly because my dad made me go. There was a meeting, a recovery clubhouse right near where, for the bulk of those last few years of my addiction, where he lived, and I was kind of living with him, and then homeless, and living with him, and he kicked me out, all that stuff. And I'd go to some meetings. I really and truly don't ever remember like actually listening or anything I heard. I knew they did the chips and the key tags and stuff like that in some of the meetings, like that would denote certain lengths of sobriety, but I didn't really pay attention to that. I can remember, it's weird because I have like certain visions that I remember, certain like in pictures in my head of like the outside of a clubhouse and people congregating and smoking or talking, or like one guy, I remember there was this one guy who, I guess, I don't even know if he was speaking or leading a meeting. I'm not really sure what he was doing, but I just remember because he had just like, I don't know, it was like a biker dude. He had tattoos everywhere. So like certain things like that stuck out to me. So it's not even that I had any barriers to recovery, because I didn't have an issue with God. I didn't have, I guess my big barrier was that like I couldn't understand or wrap my head around never getting high or drinking again. That was kind of it. Because I had never been in recovery, I didn't understand that it was my ego that was keeping me sick. I didn't understand, true powerlessness, that I knew I couldn't stop, but I couldn't articulate why that was. I didn't have any clue about that whole process of recovery. But my thing was, I'm going to figure it out on my own. I'm going to figure out a way to drink and get high successfully. And the crazy thing is, my idea of success, like in high school, was, oh, I'm going to play professional baseball while smoking weed. Like that was my idea of success. And then like, as I got older, it was like, oh, like I'm going to have like a good job. I'm going to go to college while getting high and drunk all the time. And then it's like, oh, I'm just going to like find a good job after high school and not go to college. And that idea kept getting lower and lower. But the big barrier to me was that I couldn't, and it's funny because it's in our literature, I couldn't imagine my life with it or without it at a certain point anymore. And I think that was my biggest barrier to recovery, was just this idea that I can never drink or get high again. And I didn't even really fully understand the whole one day at a time thing at that time. And we made a joke last week, like we were all living a day at a time in our addictions. Like I got $300 on a Tuesday, rent's due on Wednesday. Well, I'm going to use that 300 to get high and drunk today. I'll figure out Wednesday tomorrow. You know what I mean? But I obviously didn't understand the way our recovery literature is meant, the whole one day at a time. But that was my biggest barrier. Just never like, how am I going to go to concerts again? How am I going to have fun again? Like everything I did, literally everything I did, surrounded drugs and alcohol. It was the only normal life that I knew. So I'll pass with that. Corey, I got you next on the dock.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
Well, to piggyback off of what you just said too, because yeah, same. Like I always thought about it, like the idea of like entering recovery is like you can never
final,
get high again. Yes, it's very final. It's a life sentence. Like you can never do this again. But the odd thing is, that's not even what has to be accepted, I don't think. Does that make sense? Let me elaborate. I have to accept that I can never safely do it again. You know what I mean? It's not a finality of like hey, like this privilege has been taken away from you. It's the privilege of doing it and not burning down your life is what's
Meaning
been
we're
taken
all
away.
capable of doing it again.
Yeah, like
it
it's
just
there.
comes with a lot of really bad stuff.
Right. And as silly as that kind of sounds, I think.
No, that's a great point, actually.
I think it makes a world of difference to the person that's actually ready to get sober. I felt the same way. Like I remember I was in an IOP group when I was like 18, which was only about a year before I got sober. And I did not get sober at 18, and I was far from it. I was in an IOP group, and I was sharing about how what do you guys mean I can't have a drink ever? Like, what do you guys mean? Like, I'm supposed to not have a drink with my dad on my 21st birthday? And then like another client across the room from me pointed out, do you realize that's in 3 years? Like, that's so far away, and you're thinking about it now. Like, that means so much to you right now. Like, does that not spell out a problem for you? And I was like, I didn't really have a rebuttal.
It's wild that Corey having a legal drink was 3 years down the road of when he actually got sober.
That's so wild. It's crazy.
Well, 2 years by the time I got sober.
It's
but
so crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
I met you, I was like, you're how old?
I mean, what can I say? It sets me apart and above everybody else.
You did get picked at the conference specifically for that reason.
That's literally the only time in my entire 10 years that it's ever mattered.
Corey, for those listening, Corey got picked to speak at a conference on a panel. What was it? Never had a legal drink or something like that? Specifically because he got sober well before his 21st birthday.
You know what's funny? Hand to God, I honestly didn't. You guys know, I might be egotistical in many ways. It's not one. That's not a flex to me. But I mean, it's something I'm grateful for, but it's not a flex. But I will say that if I had thought I was any type of special, I showed up to that panel and everybody else got sober longer ago and younger than me. That was on the panel. I was like, I'm literally the least qualified person on this panel. That's crazy. So that's funny. But anyway, the only other thing I'd say about barriers is I too had been to some meetings, groups and stuff like that. There was same thing as the idea I was just talking about. There was a life sentence feel to it. Man, I don't want to. Somewhere along the line, I picked up that people continue to go to recovery groups for the remainder of their lives, many times. And that kind of scared me. I was like, oh my God, this is so corny, and I don't want to. The first one I walked into, I raised my hand.
Coolest thing I never wanted to do, man.
Yeah. Well, the first one I walked into, I raised my hand, and as a newcomer, yeah, I'm new here. I got 1 day sober or whatever. And I shit you not, guys, every single person in the room stood up and hugged me.
Which can totally run a person out of the room. For
it
anyone
ran me
listening,
right out. I've never been back to that group. So, just saying, I did go back to the ones where they just shook my hand like a normal person, and said, "Hey, my name's so and so." That's cool. That's fine. Don't hug me all the time. We can hug when we get to know each other. Anyway, sorry. So the finality of going there for the rest of my life scared me, but also lastly is I knew that it was about God, and like Sean, like you said, didn't have a problem with God, but we don't, me and God don't operate in the same conditions. You know what I mean? We're not the God idea is good. I don't really know good. You know what I mean? Not that I'm some hardened criminal out here or nothing, but how am I going to take my drug problem to that? I'm not a church guy. I have a dark sense of humor. I have, you know what I mean? Too much would have to change, and the flip side of that, and I'll shut up, but a lot did have to change. Obviously, we know that, but
I say everything had to change, Corey.
Well,
change everything. One thing, everything.
No, I know. I'm just
that's treatment for you. Treatment tells you that.
Greg, barriers.
I had no actual physical barriers, or all the barriers I had were from within myself, right? And I say that because I live a stone's throw from where, you know, some very heavy recovery originated. The kind of recovery groups that we frequent are very, very plentiful in this area. There are a lot of good places to get sober right here, but I had to travel, uh, almost 2,000 miles away, maybe 1,500 miles, whatever. I had to travel across the country to get away from here. And I know now in my heart that that didn't need to happen. I'm grateful that it happened. I think that at that moment, it was exactly what I needed, those doors to open up. But I could have gotten it right here, but I made every excuse in the world. And if you asked me at that time, I can't do this, I can't do that. Like you guys said, I can't envision. I don't even know if envision is the word. Like never getting like it was very easy to see that I had a heroin problem that and that I was going to die. Um, but the fact that I could never smoke weed again, the fact that I could never take a drink again, like that just doesn't even compute. That my brain is hardwired for that shit and has been since I was 12 years old. So that idea completely doesn't compute. And to be completely honest, I was holding on to those ideas as I got on a plane to Florida, right? As I was going through detox, as I was going through rehab, you know and the whole, like, maybe looking around the room, and here I am, essentially at this point I am homeless. I am um I have about $2 to my name. I'm in a rehab with a whole bunch of people I don't know, and here I am, like, I'm in my head silently judging them because I'm better than them, right? Which is bullshit. I was just as bad, if not worse, right? And the cloudiness that would hang over my head and just fill my head with those kind of ideas was just insane. But yeah, I think the biggest things for me is, even before I made that trip, and that was my doorway to getting sober. I think before, when I was up here, is, yeah, like that sense of, well, when I go check myself into St. Vincent's once a year for detox, for charity detox, like, I'm in here with a bunch of people that are way worse than me. Like, yeah, I might be homeless, but I still got a job, right? I still got a job. I'm still bringing in money. There's none of it to speak of 5 days after I get paid, if that, and I'm having to, just like you said, Sean, like, I'm having to figure out 7, 8, 10 days before I get paid again, how I'm going to get money. And that kind of goes into everything we talked about last episode, which all the crazy shit we do for that. But like, yeah. And I very much did not like, being told that, if by my mom and my stepdad, like, hey, we'll give you a place to stay, but there's going to be some restrictions on it, and you're gonna go to these meetings. And I'd get dropped off at meetings, and I would just be, first off, I'd be making phone calls and text messages to my dope man, like, as I'm in the meeting. But again, like, I don't want you to hug me. I don't want you
Yeah.
to I don't want you to give me your book. I don't want to tell you my name. I certainly don't want to hear about God. And like you guys said, you didn't necessarily have a problem with God. Well, I did. I did. And granted, it was all under a veil of, it was just BS. It was my own BS, and it was my own shit that I've been carrying for years and years and years. And my brain was twisted up, my mind was twisted up, and I didn't have any kind of spirituality or anything like that in my life. So yeah, the last thing I wanted to hear about was God. God's the reason I'm in this shit to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Like, um so yeah, there were a lot of things in my way, and it was all me, right? So I guess, short answer, I was my barrier.
Yeah. I like it. Danny P.
Yeah, I was thinking the same exact thing. I was like, that's an easy answer, one word, me, But I mean, for me, like, I would say 100% the biggest barrier in, well, I didn't even know what recovery was. Recovery to me was just figuring out a way where I can stabilize my life. Meetings, never heard of them until I went to rehab. God in meetings, the book, the literature. I knew nothing of any of this stuff. So it was never like a barrier to recovery for me, but I was always the centric problem. Always me admitting that I was the problem, the drugs, alcohol, or whatever it is. And, but I would say me having my life in order, having vehicles, having a house, having a marriage, and having a child was probably my biggest barrier to wanting to correct things the right way that I ended up doing after I lost all that. Because me having that, I couldn't take the time out, kept that rationalization in my head that I can't take 2 weeks off to go to rehab and fix this and fix that. Because then if I do that, I'm letting them down. And that just crazy, in your head that you make up that you can't do that, when now it's super cool to look back where I could be like, if I didn't do what I did, and I might be in a situation now where I'm not there for everybody I want to be in my life, I would be dead. That time is afforded, because of things that have happened. But I mean, the biggest barrier definitely was me. I mean, throughout my whole, from 21 to 31, it was me having things. The biggest barrier was having things. And every time that I had things, I was still okay. That was definitely my biggest barrier to anything in recovery. And like I said, I never knew anything about meetings or any of that stuff. So it was always a different switch of, for me, recovery was, all right, get this Suboxone, I'm good. I just drink. That was my recovery. And I'm doing good as long as that's all I do. I black out, fall on the pavement. No big deal. It's fine. At least I'm not getting high. And it was just keep switching that over and over again. But the biggest barrier for me was definitely just having stuff, always stuff.
Dan, what were some methods that you used to try to stop or moderate on your own power? What were some stuff that you tried to do?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was always the switch would be, well, obviously not doing pills. The pills was my drug of choice, so it would be Suboxone for those. And then I would drink, but not drink hard alcohol. For me, I never stopped. You know what I mean? There was never a method I used to actually stop. It was just managing different things, only drink on this night and only do this, but only if I don't spend money on this and I'm doing okay. And then eventually, as you know, it always circles back around.
Right. Right. Greg, what about you? What were some methods that you maybe tried to stop or moderate or like Dan said, kind of just facilitate the appropriate way to get high?
Dude, I was so out of my mind. And and with the heroin and those of us who've struggled with that and the opiates, same thing, Dan, is you guys know, the mental rat race that we go through. And I swear to God, I could probably get certified as a witch doctor right now or something. All of the little, every home remedy I could think of to detox myself, I have tried. Right. I have
Chinese foot pads.
Yes, dude, but I've tried. I used to go, I'd go into the head shop and take steel bags of kratom capsules and just
nice.
face them. My poor stepdad, man, he's got some diabetic stuff, so he has some nerve damage, and I would steal his gabapentin and I would eat them by the handful to go to work.
Oh, dude. Oh, so real quick, sorry. So the 8 milligram stop sign Suboxones, those things.
He's so excited right now.
I used to cut that into 16ths so I could make it last and just dabble a little every single day.
Right. And that's the thing is we do everything, and that's what it was. Okay, well, I'm just gonna smoke weed. Weed's natural. It's from God. It's grows in the earth. It'll be fine. And it never was. I would consume so much. I could, when I was in the throes of dope sickness, I could drink more than I've ever drank in my entire life and be somewhat level. And then it would get to this weird point, because of course I'd just be pounding liquor. Because I'd tell myself, like you said, if I fall flat on my face, no big deal. And I'd be cool baseline.
And then bam.
All of a sudden, dude, it's just, and then I wake up the next day and my house would look like a tornado and I would have no clue what happened. No clue, and it was dangerous, man. It was dangerous because it was all, everything under the sun was, it was all like this external remedies, man. What can I do? What can I do? What can I take? And the cocktails of stuff that I was putting into my body to try and pry myself away from dope addiction was crazy, you know. But yeah, it was everything under the sun. And again, it's you try to switch it up, and you try to, you know, arrange things to how we think it should work, you know. So then you know, I'm just doing alcohol this week. I'm just going to snort cocaine this week. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to do that. And none of it ever worked.
Say a rail of aspirin is probably the lowest point ever.
Yes.
I used to,
That
sorry,
was the worst.
I used to snort Seroquel. So,
Oh,
Corey,
all right.
yeah, just because that was the only thing that would let me go to sleep. That was the
Yeah,
only
night-night.
thing when I was detoxing and going through withdrawals that I could sleep. Corey, what about you? Methods. They used to call you Method Man, didn't they?
Great, Sean. All the above for sure. It was, for me, I had the obsession, like, once I got on heroin, or at least when it got bad, I had the obsession that I could go back to pills. You know what I mean? Like, that was like a Percocet was like my first love. And
Makes sense.
yeah. And that's all I ever wanted, was to get back to that, because I could do that on the weekends and things were fine. And I would just feel good all weekend and go to school on Monday. Whether or not that was reality or not, but that, I mean, I did the whole Suboxone thing, and the thing is, like, none of the methods, I mean, it's not a mystery to you guys, but like, none of the methods lasted long at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then I would
Right.
tell myself, well, I didn't give it a fair shot because I didn't do it.
Yeah, I should totally try that one again.
Yeah, I should try it again.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
They'd last just as long as the money was low.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Back
Yeah.
up, baby. We're good.
There's a correlation there.
There was
Well-
never a lasting point to where we're trying to get sober.
Well, and then the thing is, like I said, like, my obsession was to get back to pills. Well, if I came up with $30 to $50 and was like, okay, I'm gonna go get my Perk 30,
Right.
and I'm gonna get one pill,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And like, then it
Might as well
dude,
just
to,
get a bag of dope.
yeah, to the heroin addict, I'm like, fuck that. I could be good all weekend if I go to the city, you know?
Mm.
So that's why yeah, you're right. It's, you get money, the method is gone.
For those pure alcoholics out there listening to this show, what Corey just described is the equivalent to the beer experiment, where you don't drink hard liquor and you only drink beer. That's what he just tried describing. It doesn't last. It doesn't.
I also attempted to just drink and just smoke weed and all the stuff.
I did the just smoke weed and drink thing like dozens of times. Like, I'm just gonna, you know. So, Corey, how did your addiction affect relationship with your family and friends, or like coworkers, jobs? I couldn't keep a job. What about you? Just give us a quick little picture of that.
My knowledge, everybody was fine with it. So
Nobody was worried.
yeah, no, everything was fine. I was able to hold a job, climb the ranks.
Nice.
You know,
Employee of the month a few times.
employee of the month.
Well,
Yep.
he was only
Picture on
job
the wall.
eligible for 2 years.
Yeah, that is true.
He was at age where he could only work 5-hour shifts before he needed an hour break.
Yeah.
Dude, literally. No, how did it affect, like, relationships with families? Was that?
Yeah,
my
family,
was-
friends, coworkers, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was awful because of course, like, it's not just like, oh, I don't want to talk to you because you're getting high. It's, I don't want to talk to you because you're fucking lying to me every time we talk, and you're trying to get money from me all the time. It's like, it's the actions too that, like, yeah, they're rooted in my drug addiction, but or sometimes didn't, but that would relationships down. You know, by the end of it, it was like, I can't even remember exactly what terms I was on with my mom, but like, she had her own stuff going on. My dad and I weren't really talking much. You know what I mean? Like, it was.
Did you ever get kicked out of the house?
Hell yeah. Like, that last few months, I lived with my dad. We had a blowout. went to where my mom was staying. I used to threaten to fight everybody all the time. It was wild, dude. Like I was so just.
You want to go, bro? You want to
dude.
go?
A lot of conflict. I had a lot of conflict. Yeah, I mean, I kept getting kicked out of places that last few months until I was just in my car for a few months, and then the cops impounded my car and everything in it. So then I was like, I stayed in my buddy's shed a few nights.
Nice.
Like,
I've done the shed. I've done the shed thing before.
And dude, just to paint the picture real quick, it wasn't even just like, oh, you got to stay in a shed where like there was just a hard floor. No, it wasn't a hard floor. It was one of those like canvas tent sheds, like popped up with the PVC piping or whatever. And like their freaking lawnmower was in it, along with like their lawnmower trailer. You know what I'm talking about? Like the small like trailer that goes on the back of a little John Deere lawnmower. That's like on an angle, right? Like a 45-degree angle. And that's what I slept in. Because there was no room on the floor. So that was the good life.
That's what they call freedom. No one's bothering you, dude. Like you can just get as high as you want to.
Oh my God. It was paradise, Sean.
John Deere's top of the line too.
Yeah, dude. John Deere. And then dude, like, I mean, I got nothing much to say about like the jobs, but Dan's right. Like I had like one on the books job before I got sober, and I was a gas attendant because in New Jersey you don't pump your own gas. Somebody does that for you. And I was a gas attendant, and I stopped showing up one day. I just stopped showing up. So that's all.
God, I stopped showing up to probably like a dozen different jobs in my lifetime. Just literally just no call, no showed. I used to get jobs, get hired, have a start date, and then just not show up for the start date, and like nothing.
The craziest thing that I can really summarize my addiction with job wise is I did have a job with one of my dad's friends that he owned a construction company. And,
of course he did.
Yeah. And I would go, he gave me a job and he would pay me $100 cash at the end of the day. Now, when you start not
that's
showing
the good life right there.
That's what I'm saying. When you start not showing up to that job, shit's really out of hand because you're getting $100 at the end of the day, but I can't even make it there to get the $100. So
right.
Terrible.
Right. Greg, what about you? How did your addiction affect relationship, family, friends, jobs, coworkers, etc.?
I was a fiend, man, and I put the people closest to me like through the ringer first. Like that's the kind of drug addict and alcoholic that I am. So a lot of them wouldn't talk to me. I had to really work at a lot of those relationships in sobriety. I have always known how to manipulate my mom from a very, very, very young age. I've always known how to do that. And, so I'd get her, I'd be bouncing around. I'd be homeless for a little while, and then I'd weasel my way back in. And I just thank God for the tough love from her and certainly from my stepdad, man. Cause like and this dude loves me and my sister like we're his own kids, or as close. He doesn't have any children of his own, so as close as he can be. But it was his tough love that was finally like the breaking point where it was like this cannot continue. This dude is not welcome in my house anymore. And he had to have some really hard talks with my mom, about it. But yeah, I was not a good person to be around at that point in time. On the flip side of that, one thing that I have always had, and I say it in with the utmost humility, but I've always had a really strong work ethic. So even in the throes of addiction, like I'm still showing up to work now. 30 minutes into the shift, I might be like, oh, this so-and-so family member just died for the 11th time this year. And I got to go, or something just horrible and crazy, I can remember one time I was leaving one job on the bus to get to the second job. And I managed to, it was like a little deposit or something like came through on my account. And so I got some money, so I don't need to go to.
Let's go.
Right. So I literally, no joke, took a box cutter, like a razor blade box cutter, and gashed my arm open, thinking that I just killed two birds with one stone. Because number one, I got off of work for the night, and number two, I'm gonna have to go to the urgent care. They're gonna have to stitch me up, and I will get some kind of pain meds for that as well. So, which won't be much, but it'll be enough to just either trade or stave off the effects. So, just pitiful, pathetic shit like that. But yeah, I was not an all-star employee, but I always maintained a job. And yeah, as far as relationships go, I mean, that's the biggest regret that I have is, not treating those people with the respect and love that they deserved. But I'm glad that I've been able to work at building all those back up.
This is, please tell Lauren, don't get mad at me for this, but weren't you engaged once before?
No.
No? Okay. I thought I remember that from your story.
No.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, Lauren. I was misinformed. No, I thought.
No.
I thought for
trust me, no females wanted anything to do with me.
Only the guys did.
Only the guys.
It was only the dudes.
There you go. Danny, what about you, buddy? How did that affect everything? I know you talked about it a little last week too.
Yeah, firstly with Corey, my first job ever, Corey, 16 years old, gas station attendant.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's it, man, right there.
In Connecticut?
In Connecticut, mobile gas station. I used to sell drugs out of the bathroom.
Nice.
So that's like way back in the day when
way back.
Because they pump their own gas now, right?
Well, they pump their own gas. It was like a gas station mechanic garage in the whole 9 yards. So I sold cigarettes to underage
Just think
kids.
of how many jobs were taken away from the good, hardworking American people when they made us consumers pump our own gas.
Dan, real quick, Dan, sorry to interrupt. I will say with the gas attendant job, when you're in addiction, you are cleaning everybody's windshield.
Oh yeah,
they want you to you want them to flip that 10 spot or 20 spot.
Well, yeah, that's because you are in a place or were raised in a place where they don't allow people to pump their own gas. They understand that their population is so inept that they're like, you know what, we can't even let them use these gas pumps. This is too high tech for them.
Anyway, Dan. I can hear this shit.
But I wanted to say it, but yeah, the gas station attendant thing, but like super in my addiction and like literally throughout all my years, as Greg was saying, I was always a hard worker, man. And I never had any problem because that was my baseline for being okay. If I showed up to work, I'm good. I got my DUI on the way to work at 4 a.m, completely blackout. I was going to work. Right. Like I always, and I had the same job for like 12 years, and I became a boss and a foreman at that job. So when I became a foreman at that job, I could do whatever I wanted, because I was so exceptional at my job. But I just want to tell a crazy story. I mean, family relationships, I feel like it's all the same. I don't feel like I really have to dive into that. We all hurt all the people that we love around us. Mom, you know what I mean? Sister, cousin, everybody, the whole gauntlet. But I would not take it back because I wouldn't be here and be who I am today. I wouldn't, you know what I mean? It is what it is. And we have all, we've all had our conversations and gone through the process of healing and all that. But I just want to tell one story of work. So, doing what I did, we could scrap copper. And this was not like a stealing scrap copper. Yeah, but we were just going to trade in copper that we were allowed to take, And then I'm the boss, so I divvy up the money. So you know how that ration's going to go out, 80, 10, 10, And so I did that, but unbeknownst to me that they knew exactly what I got. And I went home and I remember someone knocked on the door and nobody was there. And I went to go open the door and I got punched in the face and then put in a chokehold. And the money got ripped out of my pocket and like literally I bruised my windpipe and everything like that. And I had to make up some crazy story to my wife of what happened, that this dude came in and and all that crap. But I just for like that's like the craziness of the things that happen. And like I had to like brush it under the rug like nothing happened. That's just a crazy story through relationships.
Where those situations where you can't even tell the truth, even if you wanted to.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
100%. Yeah. It's just wild, man.
Same thing. Like my mom had a trespass warrant against me. Like I was trespassed from her property. I couldn't step foot in her property. That's where shit got with my mom. My dad, as I said last week, would always let me come back home and kick me out, and then I would sometimes leave voluntarily, or the indignant leave, like, I'm just gonna leave, Dad. Like, I don't need this. You know what I mean? Um, I was unemployable, guys. Like, I was an absolute hot mess. The last 9 months to a year, I fucking could barely get out of bed. And like I think I said last week, the amount of effort it took to shower, put on a clean pair of clothes, go out and like get to a place with like other people. I was absolutely exhausted by the time I did that. And I had no, it's for me, the way I juxtapose parts of my addiction, especially towards the end, was previous to the final 9 months to a year of getting high and drinking. I was the social butterfly. I was the guy collecting money for the 2 a.m. beer run before everything stopped selling. I was the guy like, no, guys, let's keep partying. Let's get everybody together. We're all happier together. Let's rock and roll. Let's organize this, organize that. And that last 9 months to a year, I had no desire to. I would go out and I would like go out, and by the time I got there, I would like have to make up an excuse to like leave and just take my drugs and take my booze and go home to my room, wherever home was at the time, and be by myself and get high and watch fucking reruns of Law and Order and whatever else I was into at the time, and like just sleep. I mean, it was really an absolute mess. But I remember for the first few years after high school, when I really got into the Roxys and then eventually the heroin and all that, but the painkillers and the opiates and stuff. Here and there, kids I went to high school with would like call me up, like, "Yo, dude, what are you doing? Let's get together." And a lot of them would drink socially or get high a little bit on weed, or like normal non-alcoholic people that were still they were like home for the summer from college, or whatever. A lot of kids I played baseball and soccer with, some ex-girlfriends that I was still on somewhat good terms with, oddly enough, because when they left me in high school, I wasn't a complete and total train wreck. I was still a jock and an athlete, but they would come and like they would see how I was living, and I'll just never forget some of the like looks on their faces, and sitting with them and on like this dirty couch in this half, broken into trailer home that I lived in, and like with just all these drugs and these pills and the pill crush, all that stuff around, and like the look on their face, I'm like, yeah, like this is my life now, guys. Like, and I don't know, just like really just dark, sick stuff. And I can only imagine what I looked like, you know what I mean? Like the look of it. But the same thing. Nobody wanted to be around me. There's no one willing to give me $20 more. Nobody wanted me in their home. I wasn't getting invited to family events or any events for that matter. As a matter of fact, I was asked to leave, all that good stuff. So, what about like preconceived notions, either negative or positive to recovery? And I'll start because again, I don't really know. I've been thinking about this question for like a week. I don't really know if I had any preconceived notions because I had never been in recovery before. I again didn't have a problem with God, but I also didn't know that the recovery program that I was about to enter was unapologetically about God either, right? I didn't learn that till later. So I don't really know if I had any preconceived notions about it. It was I knew that it was a place that could help me, that helped people stop drinking and getting high, but I really had no idea of like the format and how things really worked. And honestly, once I got into recovery, like for real, I think I was like mesmerized by the way the program that we all frequent worked. And I kind of got captivated by it. So I'm really grateful for that, because I don't know, had I been in and out of recovery like some of you guys have, and this and that, I'm not sure I would have made it, to be totally honest. I really am not sure. Because I was kind of mesmerized by the whole process of it, the majesty of it. I know that sounds kind of weird and like cheese dicky, but
dude, I think the same. I think the same. I literally tell people that, man. You know, people that are, you know, have been sober for 6 years and they go back out and they come back and stuff, and I tell them how strong they are because I don't know if I could do that. You know what I mean? Like to me, it's like,
yeah,
I had the same thing, man. I knew nothing about recovery. My dad was an alcoholic. My whole family was, you know, it's all riddled throughout. You know, I never seen sobriety. I never seen meetings or any of that stuff. You know, so like I feel like that same exact thing. I feel like it helped. You know what I mean, to go into that and experience it fresh and raw.
Yeah, I agree. Greg, what about you?
I like fresh and raw too.
Thank you.
So, yeah, same thing, man. Like I said, I went to some meetings here, but I went in with the ultimate preconceived notion that like none of this is for me. Like I don't even have to like darken the doors to know that none of this is for me. I see these stupid people outside with smiles and books and hugs and shit. That's not for me. But I think even more so, in pop culture, when you see, which was really my only relation to what recovery was, prior to coming into it, you see these recovery groups, right? And you see them in the church basement, and everybody looks depressed, and everybody, hi, I'm so and so, and I'm an alcoholic, and the whole room goes, hi, Bill, you know, like, and
that ain't how it is, boys and girls.
It just seems so depressing and so like, you know, and you know, or you go into a recovery group and this guy's like complaining that he's gonna get high today because his lawnmower won't cut in straight lines, or what, you know, whatever the case may be. It's like the dumbest shit. And I am just so thankful and so grateful that where I did land, when I did, around the group of people that I did, and the recovery group that I went to said, pretty quickly, like the first couple groups I went to, there is a solution to this. We have a solution. We will do it together. We are here for you, but there is a way out. And like, man, did I need that, because I had no idea. A lot of what we've talked about already, I didn't know what this was, you know. So again, I'm just grateful. And if you're out there and you're struggling and you're going to those kind of groups that everybody seems real humdrum, and maybe like, you know, if they don't get their cup of coffee that night, they're going to go jump off a bridge. Maybe that's not the group for you.
Right. Yeah. Corey, real quick, because I got one more question I want to go around. Give me 2 minutes on your, or less than 2 minutes on your preconceived notions.
Well, it's very much what Greg just said. Straight up, dude. If you, most TV shows and movies and shit get it very twisted. Although the way they depict recovery groups is accurate to some recovery groups.
Yeah,
you know
that's true.
I mean?
Yeah. And if you're listening, stay away from those.
Well, that's the point. Is like I got lucky, and like, I mean, Greg just said it all perfectly, but I got lucky and I got dropped into an area that had good recovery, and the groups that I ended up getting to were the ones that were fired up about helping other people achieve sobriety from alcoholism, and not about the problems. Because even to this day,
right, they get you free.
Yeah, like that's what we're supposed to be talking about. Not like I don't want to hear somebody with 3 years talk about how they're still fighting every day to stay sober. Oh my God, kill me, because I can't do it. I don't have the fight in me. You know, so that's my number one preconceived notion, is that at one point in my life, I thought that, one, that's how recovery groups operate and how they all were. But two, that I'm going to have to fight, scratch, and claw every day to stay sober. And that is the biggest lie out there.
The physical part of staying sober has become, it wasn't in the beginning, but it has become the easiest part of sobriety. The tougher part is the emotional sobriety and you know, living with accountability and integrity. I would agree. Straight
up, if you were struggling to stay sober, at least after an amount of time and doing the work, you were doing something wrong. So
yeah. So you all three, as Corey said last week, thank God none of you were trafficked when you got on your airplanes to come to Florida. you all came from different places to get sober in Florida. So, Dan, what idea, thought, or person, or what event kept you in Florida to really stay and try to get sober?
Yeah, so it was my good friend Alexandria. It was I was doing you know, in my head the whole time in rehab, doing 30 days, gonna do my rip, all fresh and clean, come out, little spin cycle, come back to Connecticut, fix my life, you know, because I'm so good, I'm gonna, you know, take care of everything. But she came in and she asked, this was like on I think it was right before we went to IOP or halfway or whatever you want to call it. And she was talking about, you know, what she was doing and all that stuff, and I literally asked her, like, I was the only one that asked questions, and I asked like 30 questions, and just because I didn't know, man, like, you know what I mean, I don't know what's going on, and I just kept asking questions, and she just gave me that comfortability that maybe I'll just try this out. And that's all it took to really like hook me in.
Nice.
And then meeting everybody, you know what I mean, kept me going.
Shout out to Alexandria. That's pretty cool. Greg, what about you?
I was about 60 days off of drugs and alcohol. And I was living in a sober living community where our good friend Bill was the head of at the time, or I don't know how you want
Which
to
is
say
a scary thought.
live-in house manager. And yeah, dude, it was just I had a job doing some day labor stuff. I was interviewing for a couple other positions. And I had this whole thought that I was just going to get to work and I was going to build my life here because I couldn't go back home and yada yada yada. And I just remember one night I was coming unglued, right? Couldn't go to sleep, staring at the ceiling. Mind was racing. Thought I was gonna, just I'll sneak out. I'll go get a drink or whatever. I was coming apart at the seams, and I couldn't figure out why because I was 60 days off of it, and it was almost like full blown back into withdrawals again, almost to that point where it was just like I couldn't quiet my mind at all. And so I was pacing around outside at like 2:00 in the morning. I met Sean. This is the night before I met Sean, actually. And Bill was out there and he was like doing like little cert or, like little rounds,
Bed checks,
bed checks and all that. Yeah. Yeah. And I was pacing, man. I was just cigarette after. I probably had 3 cigarettes in my mouth at the same time. I was just chiefing them down, and then he could tell something was up. Obviously, it was written all over my face, and yeah, he was like, dude, there's a really good meeting. It's 7:15 in the morning. I recommend that you go to it. I highly suggest that you be there. If you need a ride, we'll take you. And we'll get you there, dude. But like, you are exactly what our literature talks about, exactly what this whole thing is, man. Like, you are screwed because you're not getting better. You're getting worse without it,
Yep.
So
Very cool.
Yeah, that was it.
Corey, quick.
Don't fucking quick me, Sean.
We gotta go quick.
I got all night, bud. All right. I think all right, so long story short, my friend Devin helped get me to Florida for rehab. And when she was taking me to the airport, I was being a little bitch and I was complaining, even though I had asked for help. I had asked for help and I was still bitching the whole way. And I said something along the lines of, I just want to die. I just want to die. And like a little, and ironically, not to say anything funny, but we were talking about plane crashes earlier. Her response was, well, maybe you'll get fucking lucky and your plane will crash. And I was like, oh, how could you say that to me? And whatever. So I ended up getting on the plane. I think I missed my first flight. Got to West Palm Beach Airport. Couldn't find my driver. Borrowed somebody's cell phone to call Devin. Tell her I landed and I can't find the damn driver. And she needed to call the treatment center that was supposed to be picking me up. And whatever. And I am pissed off. I am pissed off beyond belief. Somehow this is everybody else's fault. And I was bitching to her while she was trying to still help me, going above and beyond to help me. And I said, I'm doing 1 week here. I'm doing 1 fucking week in detox, and then I'm coming the hell back home, and I'm taking control of my life. And she just said, fine, Corey, don't even give yourself a fucking chance. And she hung up on me. And I ended up finding the driver, and I remember contemplating that whole thought, like, really, what the fuck am I going home? I don't have a home. What was I even talking about? I don't have anywhere to go. And honestly, so a combination of Devin putting that thought in my head and the fact that, like, there was literally nothing to return to. There was no one was going to take me in. There was nothing. So it was only forward that I had to go.
So a really cool thing happened on Saturday, and we'll close with this. I was at an event on Saturday night, an annual event that we have around here, and I ran into someone who all of you know, or at least a couple of you know, and I haven't seen this person in many, many years. They moved up north of us, and I saw her, said hi, how you doing? She obviously sees the kids on Facebook. Congratulations on your baby, all that good stuff. And I say hi, I go in. I had some service I was doing at the event. She comes up to me a little while later and she goes, I just want you to know that like 11 and a half years ago, you said something to me directly after a recovery group that we were attending. And I never told you this, but I was on my way out. I was leaving. I wasn't coming back. I didn't want to do it. And you didn't know that, but you said something to me. And she said, I'm still sober over 12 years later. Not only because of that, but like that specific night, it was at our old Monday night, 8:30 recovery group, boys. And she was just like, and thank you, because that was the night that I probably would have been out. I would have been gone. I wouldn't have come back. And I stayed and got into the work and really got serious about it. And so I don't know. I guess all I say for that is we don't know who we affect and who we are going to help. The simple fact that we all suit up, show up, go to recovery groups, share our experience, strength, and hope, no matter if we think it's good, bad, whatever, we do not know who we're going to help and who needs to hear not only the truth, but what we have to say. And I don't just mean the four of us. This is for everybody out there listening. If you attend recovery groups and you're sober, but you don't put your hand up to share and you don't put your hand up to give back, stop being selfish and give back, because we do not know the message that we have might fall upon the right ears, hearts, and minds to help someone stay sober another day. So with that, thank you guys. This was fantastic. Shout out to our listeners. Please like, follow, and share on all socials at Trudge Report Pod. Email us, trudgereportpod@yahoo.com. Send in your mailbag requests for topics, questions, comments to any of these handles. Remember, we are all here if anyone wants to talk about recovery, our experiences, or if you're struggling with some form of addiction. Thank you again. Thank you again to Janine and Stella Mix Podcast Management. Good night, God bless, and may you trudge the road of happy destiny. See you next week.